You'll also be receiving the presentation through a thank you message for attending the webinar. It's also going to be available on YouTube, and you'll also see our web channel here. At this link, you'll be able to at any time pull up any of either this video or any of the past presentations that we've done. And today we're going to talk about several different aspects of the web and electronic marketing media, and kind of how it all ties together in different elements as well. So to start, here's a quick overview of the topics we're going to discuss. We're going to start with design and branding, just talk about your website and the design and branding elements of successful websites. Then we'll move into content management systems and taking control of your content and being able to manage your information on your website. Followed up by that, we'll be talking about integrated custom tools, which is also a part of that content management. They're just custom pieces that are built for specific needs that our customers have requested, so you can kind of see what's available in those aspects. Next, we'll get into mobile websites, followed by microsites, and also talk a little bit about landing pages and how those work. Then we'll get into some social media marketing and the most popular elements of that, followed by QR codes. We're going to also talk a little bit about NFC, or near-field communication, and then last we'll also touch on responsive web design. And today most of this is going to be a kind of an introductory level approach at most of these topics, so if at any point you'd like to learn more about these, feel free to contact LKCS for more information. Okay, to start, we're going to talk a little bit about the design and branding of your website. Some of the goals that you should have in mind, either for a new website, your existing site, things that you should look into for redesigns, etc., include things like a professional design, organized and consolidated content areas, images that support your content and emphasize the value of your brand. You don't want to just use images and things that are generic filler. You'll see many sites out there that it appears they've just used graphics for the sake of having an image in there, and you're losing your value and the marketing value of it by not having graphics that help support that data. And also we'll talk about integrated third-party elements. So taking a look, this is a site we had done for one of our customers, and you can get a little bit of an idea of some of the elements that we've helped them with and some of the things they've done to keep a nice clean design and also contain their brand. They've integrated things like a custom banner ad manager, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. We'll go over the integrated custom tools, show you how that can be done. But tools like this can be integrated for you to have control over your marketing materials and also assist in all of your marketing promotions, specials, things like that you may have. Also, you'll just notice a very clean, organized look to this site. It's not an overwhelming site with excessive information, clean columns, well-defined spaces for all your content. Looking into the branding aspects of it, we also want to discuss things like the design and overall presentation that makes your identity. Makes you stand out from the crowd, and then the identity, of course, is something that's going to carry through to all of your pieces. So you want to build consistency on all your marketing efforts. This includes all your electronic efforts, your print media. It all should tie together. And as we go through today, you'll see more examples of how that all works together. You also want to be sure to maintain the standards throughout the life of your site. Having control of a site, we see customers that will take a site with standards in place, and over the time of the site or life of the site, those things will tend to change and get away from the branding standard or identity that you've come up with. So it's very important to do as much as you can to maintain that. And we do things as well, like using cascading style sheets or CSS to help maintain those elements. This particular site is a site we've done for a customer, and a very strong element of their design identity or branding identity is the column element that's part of their logo. So you'll see throughout the site, we have the column on the sides and some of the marketing areas throughout the site. It's an important element to them, and it's also on all of their print media and those other efforts that they've done. Next, we're going to talk about content management. The previous two sites that you saw were both set up within a content management system, which gives them, the customer, the ultimate control over their site to change pretty much everything they could think of, with the exception of the actual shell or the design of the site. But it gives you control to make timely changes, you don't have to call anyone. Obviously, it's less expensive once you get beyond the initial cost because you can maintain it all yourself. It also gives you the ability to do it with minimal web knowledge. It's very similar to using a regular desktop application, such as like Microsoft Word or something like that. It gives you full control to make all of your changes. Some of the functionality elements, if you're looking into a content management system, should include things like adding, editing, and deleting pages, your site navigation. The particular system we use on the two previous sites you saw gives you the ability to drag and drop your menu choices to different locations, full functionality to add, edit, and delete pages within the navigation. It's a very user-friendly system. Also, you should be able to have the ability to implement plugin elements such as polls, image galleries, banner management systems, and things like that. And most importantly, on the system we used, again, on those two previous sites, is the ability to log site changes. So for compliance reviews and things like that, you can very easily go back to previous versions of pages to see what they look like at a prior date. This gives you a lot of control. Also, if you realize you'd made an error or mistake, it's easy to roll back to those previous versions. They also come in a variety of different price structures for different budgets. Obviously, the lower end ones have less functionality to them. The more expensive ones do have more functionality and give you more control of your site. Moving from there into the integrated custom tools, we're going to talk about several different topics, and a lot of these are also integrated into the content management systems at times. So some of the things we'll go over are banner ad management, dynamic rates, custom polls, location mapping for things like ATM locations, branch locations, RSS feed integration, announcement management, custom forms and calculators, and also social marketing integration. The first slide here is going to show you a little bit about banner management. What you're seeing are just three different custom designed banner ad managers, or banners. In this case, you're just looking at the banner itself, but we'll show you a little bit of behind the scenes and how the management part works. But we've done everything from cases where a customer wants full control over their banner, where they do all the graphic work themselves, upload their own files, schedule their own files, down to a case like the bottom right here is actually a flash banner ad. And we do the majority of that work for that particular client. And then also in between that is the ability to have one where you control the text, links, things like that. And we have a custom image gallery set up so you can choose your own images, but then you can still control your own text. So just a few different options. This is a little bit of a behind the scenes look at the actual banner management system. This gives you the ability to upload your banners, and then you can also choose all of your linking capabilities, your publish date, and your expiration date. So for organization and your marketing approach, you can schedule different banners to go live at a certain date and then also expire on a given date. And then if you'll notice on the left, we have a little preview or a thumbnail of several different banners that they have stored. You'll notice all these in this case have the little green icon next to them. If you wanted to deactivate any of those, it's as simple as just clicking on the green icon, turns gray, that deactivates it or takes it out of the rotation on the website. And it's also, again, a drag and drop system where if you want to reorganize the order that they appear, you just click and drag to move those around in a different order. The next part of the presentation is going to talk about dynamic rates. This gives you the ability to manage rates throughout your entire website from one location. So in this case, I've highlighted a few of the target areas, such as on the home page, they have a tab format area to advertise different types of rates for their loans, mortgage, savings, and checking rates. And then the ability, obviously, to go to the full rates page. But they also have on internal pages, on many of their internal pages, they have rate sections designated to that particular topic. So all those rates are also available. And this is a look at the control panel behind the scenes that you would have access to as a customer. You can go in and access the terms, all the information about the particular rates, and edit all that on the fly. This particular one is set up that there is no save or refresh. You can just simply put in the information, and as soon as you enter the next field, it's automatically updated. Next is our poll manager. This is something that gives you the ability to post your own custom polls out on the website. You would have noticed on that second site that we looked at, this is the poll manager behind the scenes from that particular site. This gives you the ability to put your own polls out, ask your own questions, put your own answers in, and then on the back end, you get to see the actual management console where you enter all your information. It also tracks the actual vote count on the answers that have been given. And then again, just like the banner manager and the other elements, all these things are things you can activate and deactivate to put out new polls, deactivate the live one, etc. Next, I had mentioned location mapping. And this particular customer has an ATM finder and a branch finder that has an icon for the two different, the branches and the ATMs have the separate icons here, you'll notice. And what we've done behind the scenes is basically put all these in based on their location, and we've got them programmed so that when you click on the icons, it gives you all the information about that particular location. So in this case, you have the address, the hours, the phone, all the contact information. And then you also have the option of putting in your particular location, and you can get driving directions to that location through this finder. Next is a simple sample of RSS feed integration that we've done. We have a customer who wanted to pull from a third-party service that they had purchased a membership to or subscription to, and what they do is pull through RSS feed articles from this third-party resource, and it automatically updates these onto their homepage. So on the left is just the element that you see on the actual website, and on the right is the format that it was in on the actual site that it comes from. So we set that up, and it automatically updates weekly in this case. The announcement manager is another very similar looking control panel to what we looked at with the banner ad manager. It gives you the ability to put multiple topics or features in your spotlight or your what's new area of your website, and it scrolls through these just with transitions in between each topic. So it kind of gives you the ability to consolidate all your different announcements and things you want to say in one little area, and it just transitions through those. Again, they have a simple activate and deactivate option to turn them on or to deactivate those. And then you have control, obviously, to delete those as well. The newer systems that we have now also have the same scheduling capabilities to where you can schedule those announcements and things. So again, if you were not available on a weekend and wanted something to go live on a Saturday or Sunday, you wouldn't even have to go into the site. You could just have that done ahead of time, and it would appear. This is a sample of just a custom kind of form and calculator combination that we had done for a client. And what it does is allows a member or a customer to come on the site, put in their current loans and things like that that they have outstanding from another financial institution. And as you move through the different tabs, it's got their auto loans, personal loans, credit cards, student loans, etc. As you put in the information here and hit calculate, it will actually calculate the savings once you switch over to this particular financial institution. It'll give you an idea of what your savings could be. So it's kind of an interesting approach at showing a prospective member or customer what their savings could be to make them switch. And then also social media integration, which we'll get into in more detail in a little bit. But things like Twitter, this particular customer has us pull their live tweet to the home page to show that, and that's again automatically updated from Twitter. And then of course these are the top social media tools we're going to talk about today, particularly the three on the left and YouTube. We won't get into too much on Twitter, but we'll talk about those in more detail. Obviously, having the sharing icons, the like and follow us, and those kind of icons are all something that's very easy to integrate. That's also part of the content management system. That's something that's easy to share those icons on there. Moving into mobile websites. They're custom designed for mobile delivery, so we have customers that will ask us, well, can we make a site and make it mobile friendly? And what we typically recommend is that it does be a separate site as opposed to trying to make one site work for both cases. It's really important as far as the loading time, the way it appears on your actual mobile device and things like that, that it be a separate site. So it's a simplified version with fewer images, only your key information that someone might need on the fly if they're on the road or whatever, need a location, maybe an application to get onto your online banking, something like that. So again, it's going to be a simplified site with fewer pages, maybe 5 to 7 pages is the typical size site we use for our financial institutions. You also have the ability, just like you do with any other, like your website, you have the ability to integrate marketing ads into your mobile site, so you can carry again any specials, promotions, etc., right into your mobile site. Online banking integration, obviously, there's easy integration for that as well, so that people can log into their online banking from the mobile device, just like you would on your website. You can also use QR code, or it's also used for location or QR code landing pages for mobile promotions. It's a good way to use your, we'll get into QR codes in more detail, but a good way to use a QR code, obviously you're going to use a mobile device to scan that QR code, so you can present mobile-friendly landing pages for those promotions. And as part of a development of a mobile website, we also use a redirect code on your main website to determine which version of the website your customer member sees. This is going to make it so that if you go to the main web address, it's going to actually detect the browser being used, and then it will redirect to the mobile device if the user is in fact on a mobile device. And then the big, one of the big questions we get a lot is, what's the difference between a mobile site and mobile banking? There's a lot of confusion over this typically, and the mobile site is simply a mobile version of your website. It's not the actual tool that you do your banking on, or not the mobile banking application. It's an actual separate site. So those are very separate elements. We consider it to be a good idea to have all three, to have your main website, a mobile website, and then your mobile banking to make the mobile website even more usable. Here are some samples of some mobile websites that we've done. And again, you'll notice in comparison to the other site that we looked at for this particular customer's main website, again, we carried through the same branding and look, but it's a very simplified approach to make it easy to load and very easy to navigate. They also have their online banking login available to easily get into that. And again, we take advantage of things that are available through your mobile device, such as on your phones for making calls. We can simply have a call button, and it'll actually dial the number for you if you ask it to. It'll go ahead and make that call. Also, integration with the map button to find your locations to a certain place. It'll give you driving directions, etc. So we use those functionalities that are available. Okay, next we're going to talk about microsites. And this is a defined sub-site to your main site. It's not going to be part of your normal website. Typically, it's going to be even a separate domain name. You do this for several different reasons. We'll talk a little bit more about each of those reasons. But it's going to be focused on a specific brand, a product, service, or a concept. And that, again, ties into why you would have a separate domain name, because you want the site designated to that particular topic. It also builds improved brand recognition. And I'm going to skip down a little bit, but also tying into the brand recognition with your search engine optimization, it's also very important on that to tie all that together. It also can be used as a special landing page for pay-per-click campaigns and other campaigns you may have going, such as your Google AdWords accounts, things like that. You can set up special landing pages on your microsite as part of that campaign. Here are a couple examples of some microsites that we've done in the past or seen in the past. Again, they're always very focused on a specific topic or a promotion. In this case, this was on checking accounts. And another one, a big deal with microsites is usually games. A lot of microsites you'll see out there are games or have some kind of activities on them. Getting people to spend extra time on that site or learn more about that particular brand, product, service, promotion, etc. Now we're going to go into social media marketing and talk a little bit about how it should be used for financial institutions. Obviously, you see a lot out there about social media marketing, but a lot of it's for personal level information. So we're going to talk a little bit about how it specifically applies to your financial institution. So first of all, in most cases, you're not selling an actual product, so you're selling services, and you really want to look at this as being a relationship builder, not look at it directly as an actual, you're not selling a product on the site. So you don't want to go with the hard sell approach. You want to be more of a subtle approach to it, building relationships with your members and customers to to establish that relationship for future things. When they look into a loan, for instance, you want to be able to have them think of you first off of those relationships that you've built. And again, you want to key in on information important to your audience, not your business goals. It's important also to have dedicated resources to manage your social media. If you're just starting an account, it's really not good enough. You have to have resources dedicated to that to maintain the information and make sure that responses are given when people post a response or something to your site. You need to have someone there to answer those questions. You also have the ability through social media marketing to target your audience. So we'll talk about some of the different social media types out there, but different ones have different approaches and different goals you can achieve with them, but they all have things you can do to target your audience. Also, you can optimize and brand pages to improve adoption rates. Again, carrying that branding consistency all the way through all of your marketing channels right into your social media. So today we're going to talk primarily about Facebook, YouTube, and Pinterest is one of the newer ones we're going to talk about. Twitter and Google Plus we're not going to talk too much about today. These are the main 5, mainly in the financial sector, that we see being used. Google Plus is still struggling to gain traction with financial institutions, but Twitter is still commonly used, but the main 3 are still Facebook, YouTube, and Pinterest is up and coming. It's one we're going to talk a little bit more about just because it is a newer one, so we want to show you some of the insight on how that can be integrated as well. So Facebook, as you know, is constantly changing. In this case, this is a very recent screen capture, but this shows the new timeline format. If you're not already familiar with that, everybody's been forced over to change to that for your business pages. So it's a much different format than we had the last time we gave this presentation. First, we're going to talk about why you would use Facebook or why it's important, because we still have customers that question the value or what's the point for them in really using Facebook for your credit union or bank. In this case, we're going to talk about the fact that it's important to gain or maintain credibility and relevancy. Obviously, social media being such a large thing, it's something that you need to be part of to maintain that relationship with some of your members and customers. It increases your marketing presence. Again, as many channels as you can afford to hit, you want to be out there on all those channels. It also improves your organic search listings. We already talked about some of the other tools that do that as well, but this is another important element in that. All of your social media efforts also help with your search listings. It gives you the ability to expand your customer service. We'll talk a little bit more about specifics on that too, but it gives you the ability to have forums and other things out on Facebook to actually, answer questions and help out. It's almost like having another phone line where you have another way to reach out to your members and customers. It also gives you valuable marketing knowledge from your audience. It's telling you what kind of things they're looking at. It's giving you feedback. Again, the referrals and testimony to your products and services appear out there, so you're seeing what products and services are working or not working, what areas you could maybe expand to, things like that. We'll talk a little bit about how to use Facebook next. First off, offer your products and services. With the way the layout is now on Facebook, you have quite a bit of room to add different product and service pages out there to show your products and services. You can also show involvement in community service, advertise your social and community events, build financial knowledge, expand exposure to your promotional events, again, increase customer service, which we mentioned, and deliver to targeted or specialized content. I mentioned that previously. This kind of helps you. You can determine which demographics you offer your content to in some cases with some of the different social media tools, but Facebook's very good about allowing you to target, particularly with your ads and things like that. You can target specific demographics of who those ads appear for. And you can also use your main Facebook account for targeting certain demographics if you prefer, as opposed to trying to hit everyone with that. Some of the more popular approaches are things like targeting the youth sector, things like that, so you can kind of target which people you're trying to attract. And again, it helps build the brand. Looking at YouTube, we're just going to look at a couple quick screen captures of what we have available for ourselves out there. But this is our particular channel, and again, this is where you'd go to view any of the presentations we're going to go over today. It gives you more information on LKCS's channel, all the videos available, the ability to share, give comments on that information that's out there. And some of the main benefits include things like broad audience delivery. Obviously, being on YouTube is a very important thing because there are a lot of people on YouTube. So this is going to, again, jumping down, it's going to build your search engine optimization by having more links back to your website and the ability to have a broad audience view your presentations and videos. It's a low-cost tool, other than obviously the time and effort put in by the individuals to put the information out there, but inexpensive as a product itself. It's easy to tie it into social sharing or social marketing. You can also obviously have it on your website and other marketing efforts. You want to advertise all of your social media channels and your print, your other electronic efforts, etc. And probably the most important part about video is that it's engaging. It gives you a voice and sometimes a face or whatever the case may be with the actual people or the place, the company that you're dealing with. This gives you somebody to tie that all together with. So it's an engaging media as opposed to just looking at content on a website or looking at a mail piece you might receive. Video gives you a chance to kind of engage with your members and customers. It has the potential for viral growth. As we know, you hear about viral videos all the time. That's not something that's necessarily always predictable, but it's something that could happen with your particular videos if the content were particularly catchy or important. It's something that could be passed on. And it also gives you quite a few different content options. As I mentioned, like we're doing today, this presentation will be available on YouTube. You also can do video. There's several different kinds of media that you can upload with different kinds of presentations to meet your needs, but still being out there on YouTube and use that channel. Pinterest is the next one that I mentioned we're going to discuss, and this one's been up and coming since late last fall, gaining more and more steam. As far as with financial institutions, it's still getting going, but you read more and more about it, and it is up and coming. And there's quite a few different ways. We'll go over in a minute what some of those ways are, but quite a few different ways to integrate this and use it in some things that may be interesting for the future. First of all, typical users are out there using Pinterest as for future motivation or future inspiration for things that they want, that they like, that they've seen, just trying to share with friends, things that they stumble across on the internet. So if you think about that, they're looking at things like new cars, maybe a new kitchen idea for a remodel, vacation destinations, or other wish list things. Obviously, this gives you the opportunity to know what these things are that they're looking for, and if you approach this from a perspective that you're going to be able to help them with financial advisement and support, they may turn to you for those financial decisions when it comes time for a home equity loan, an auto loan, etc. So this gives you the ability to build that relationship. You could also approach it from like a contest and promotion opportunity. You can post things like photos of winners, prizes, if it's an upcoming promotion, prizes that could be won after it's been done. You can have the photos with the winners and the prizes they've won. It's also going to help you gain marketing insight by viewing the interest of your audience. So as you get people to join your Pinterest, your pin boards, it's going to give you the ability to see what kind of things they're looking at and what their interests are, which in a way helps you kind of look at what things you might want to do from a marketing approach to help attract those particular members or customers based on their likes and things that are out there. Some other ideas could be things like creating a savings goal pin board. So if you started a pin board that said share your ideas on things you'd like to save for, you can find examples of this out there already, but you can see where members and customers may put out things that they're interested in and things they want to save towards. And again, you're just getting that interaction with you, so this is an ability to do that. And again, looking at the different demographics, you can also create different pin boards. Maybe one's youth-based, so where you can kind of highlight or focus on your youth club. or any other efforts that you want to do. Again, we could integrate ways for them to learn, or it could just be fun things they could do, but you could target the youth demographic with things out there on Pinterest. Next, we're going to switch over to QR codes, or quick response codes, which you're seeing more and more of all the time. This isn't a new thing, but it's still something that's somewhat up and coming with credit unions and banks that we see. And it's basically a barcode or a two-dimensional code that can be read by QR scanners in a smartphone. So we'll look at a sample of what that actually looks like in a second. But the code consists of little black modules or dots kind of arranged in a square pattern on a white background, which gives it the ability to be scanned easily by the reader. And the information encoded can be text, a URL, or a web address, or other data such as a signature file. We'll look at a signature file example in a second. And that can be easily added if someone scans that on their phone to a user's contacts without having to put any data in their phone manually. It's all done automatically. Some of the benefits include things like it connects your offline media with your online channels. So as you send out newsletters, direct mail, anything print, it also gives you the ability to tie that back in then to your mobile customers so they can see, or they can easily connect through the QR code reader on their phone and tie all that together. Gives you the ability to create a call to action, and you'll see some samples of that as well, but things they get or things they should do or reasons why they should scan the QR code, what they're going to get out of it. It also gives you measurable results based on that QR code scan. You can see how many times they've been scanned and get an idea of the actual response to your QR codes. They're relatively inexpensive, so they're a great way, again, to do all the things we just mentioned at an inexpensive cost. And again, I keep talking about search engine optimization, but this is another opportunity to build, to increase your search engine optimization when you're linking back to your website or to your mobile site, because again, it's using those same web addresses that Google and all the other algorithms out there in the search engines are looking at to help build your search engine results. It also helps build your social community by tying them into your social media efforts. This is a sample. This is just simply the back of my business card. It gives you an idea of what the QR code looks like. And then this is the actual screen from the reader that kind of shows you how it works, what it's looking for. And when it highlights that, then it provides the information on the phone. As in this case, again, it's just my business card, so it's the contact information. You can easily add that as a contact then to your phone. And here are several different examples of different uses of QR codes. I'm going to start over in the top left. This particular one, this is for just going to the App Store for an iPhone app for this customer. And this particular customer, we did something very interesting with them. They have, I believe it's 16 different branches, and they had 4 different marketing pieces going in each one of those branches. So for each one of those pieces in each branch, we did a unique QR code so that we could then go back and track what the response was down to what was the most particular piece within that branch, and then also which branch had the best response. So we were able to go back and look at all that data and help them kind of determine, what avenues were best for them as far as where their marketing budget was being spent. And this particular screen capture is from their web page. They offer the QR codes on their website, so if you have your mobile device and you're on this page reading about where their mobile app is, all you have to do is scan this. You don't have to go look for it or go to your app store. You can just easily scan this and jump over to it. A couple other examples you'll see, and some of these are older examples, but things like different products will have information available if you scan the QR code. We laughed about the Jumbotron in Dallas, had the codes available during one of the commercials they had on there. We've used them in magazine ads. When we won a couple of web awards, we offered those for more information. I mentioned also earlier about doing games and interactive things. This is a sample that's out there of a capture the flag game where they actually, or capture the tag game where they actually have the codes out there scattered through different retailers to where you had to go to different locations, scan the tags, and then once you've scanned all the tags, you're eligible for prizes and things like that. And then also it's a way to sometimes get people that might be leery to walk into your location if you have them on the outside on the glass, it's something they can very easily walk by and get more information without feeling like they're going to get overwhelmed by someone if they walk in the door. So it's just another avenue to communicate with someone. Okay, and then we're going to talk about near-field communication. And the basis of it is that it's established radio communication between a smartphone and another device or object at close proximity. And you're seeing more and more of this around, and we'll look at some actual examples in a minute. NFC is utilized for financial transactions, data or information exchange, and simplified setup of electronic communications, such as maybe a Wi-Fi connection. This gives you an easy way for that to take place. It's, again, simplified communication with minimal user effort because it's doing everything for you. Here are a few different examples, and you can see a live action here of somebody taking the phone, holding it up to this poster, which has the chip to communicate the information that is going to take place on the phone. So again, if you had a Wi-Fi connection and you wanted somebody to be able to connect to that, you could have that on a poster on the wall, say tap here to establish your connection. They do that and it takes place. Starbucks, you've probably seen or heard about the availability of their points or their dollars on their card. This, again, if you have this, you can go up to their cash registers and use the NFC to actually pay, and it just deducts from your account. The bump technology, you may have heard about that, where you can send information or transfer money or other things between two devices by simply having that application enabled and bumping or touching the phones. And then again, many other payment options and things out there being used for this as well. And the last thing we're going to talk about is responsive web design. This is an up-and-coming technology that you can see out there more and more, but it still has some limitations. So we're going to talk a little bit about what it is and how it works, and a little bit about the restrictions or drawbacks right now. But page content, including your images and your layout, all responds to multiple devices and screen resolutions with one website. So instead of building a mobile site, a regular site, an iPad site, etc., things like that, you build one website and all the content will expand and contract and adjust in the layout to the device that you're on. Image resolutions and the formatting can vary on the resolution for mobile delivery. You can change the presentation of your graphics or use multiple graphics for different devices. It offers a great solution to various device needs for users and eliminates the need for multiple builds. The negative aspects or negative things that are kind of tagged on to responsive design right now are still that it's time intensive to build at this point yet, which drives up your initial build cost. And then also there's limited browser support for responsive design, and this is something that as time goes by will become less of an issue, but currently those things do hold it back somewhat from development. And the sample we're going to look at is from the Boston Globe, and you can go there and check that out after the webinar. But this is several different screen captures taken, and you can see how the layout changes based on different screen resolutions, a mobile device layout, but it's all from one site. So all these images are the same image, they just scale and the layout contracts and expands as needed with the particular layout that you're on. You can see we have a 2-column layout here, 3, an narrower 3 here, and then the mobile device goes down to a single column. And that's the end of our presentation. So at this time, I'd like to welcome you, if you have any questions, to go ahead and submit them in the question box in your sidebar. And if not, we thank you all for coming.